The NBA is a league where talents usually start to hit their stride or prime around the age of 25 to 28. However, the players we're going to be talking about in today's video are playing their best brand of basketball in their mid-30s. I've chosen 4 NBA players that I believe have gotten better as they've aged into the final years in this league. Obviously, players get better as they age, but it's not often they do at this age. After this video goes up, we will have officially uploaded 33 days in a row, so if you guys are new here and don't want to miss out on any NBA related content, please be sure to consider hitting that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get straight into this video talking about the first player, Brook Lopez. Brook has had an interesting and long NBA career. It started in 2008 when he was a dominant and more back-to-the-basket type of talent for the New Jersey/Brooklyn Nets. At the time, they were obviously the New Jersey Nets. While Brook boasted some of his best numbers of his career, he didn't amount to much winning while playing for the Nets. He had a few seasons where he averaged around 20 points and 7 rebounds, but the Nets struggled a lot. Even having a season where Brook played all 82 games in 2010, and they were a putrid 12-70. In total, during Brook's tenure with the Brooklyn Nets, they had a terrible record of 298 and 506, way below 500. Not to mention, Brook didn't have a single season other than his last with the Brooklyn Nets where he attempted over 1 3-pointer a game. Fast forward to his time in Milwaukee. This season in specific, the Bucks have the best record in the NBA, and Brook has been killing it this season. He's played in every single game for the Milwaukee Bucks and is averaging around 15 points and 7 rebounds, and he's also keeping his name in the running for the Defensive Player of the Year award this entire season. At the age of 35, Brook Lopez is now an NBA champion and could possibly be the oldest player in NBA history to win the Defensive Player of the Year, officially passing the great Dikembe Mutombo. I'm really eager to see how the awards play out at the end of the season. Brook Lopez is a tremendously talented splash mountain. He really is the perfect center for a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, someone who has a good back to the basket game, someone who can help defense, and most importantly, someone who can stretch the floor. He and another person on this list have done an amazing job just growing and transforming with this version of the NBA where modern bigs need to shoot the ball. The second player we're going to be talking about in today's video is Kevin Durant. And yes, Kevin Durant has had amazing MVP seasons in the past, but while Kevin has missed a decent bit of this season, I want to focus on what he did when he was a part of the Brooklyn Nets. He was completely dominating the league, even so much so that he was competing for the MVP award for a majority of the season prior to his injury. He's averaging almost 30 points a night, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists on nearly 50-40 90 shooting splits. Kevin is a generational scorer, and depending on who you ask, he's the greatest scorer of all time. This season is his 3rd most points scored a game in his entire NBA career. However, with age, his ability as a defender and distributor has excelled a marginal amount. People don't really give him enough credit for his ability to pick defenses apart without constantly scoring the ball. I don't think I could name you a player who receives more double teams on a nightly basis than Kevin Durant. He is absolutely gifted on the offensive side of the ball, whether, like I said, that's facilitating or scoring from the mid-range and all. He's just really what you would call a 3-level scorer. I'm at a loss for words trying to describe it. You guys know all about Kevin Durant, so I don't need to spend too much time on this. I'm just really eager to see what he and the Suns can do this postseason, and I'm really hoping that he continues to stay healthy. The third player on this list is none other than Al Horford. While Al Horford doesn't have the most eye-opening numbers, I think what he does for this Celtics team is something that can't be measured in the counting stats, other than the fact that he's shooting a near league-leading 45% from 3 on 5 attempts a night. Talk about growth from the 33% he shot last year. Al Horford didn't even attempt 3-pointers when he joined the league, just like Brook Lopez, and this is another great example of someone adapting and just staying with the times. At 36 years old, he has completely lengthened what would have been a shorter NBA career, because a lot of these big men who were strictly back to the basket, they did not last in the transitional period of those centers. Obviously, we see a guy like Boogie Cousins was one of the first people in the mid 2010s that was not only a dominant in the paint scorer, but someone who was able to stretch the floor. And then we see guys like Kristaps Porzingis come along. I digress. This isn't really about them, but Al Horford and Brook Lopez have just done an amazing job, stretching the floor and, like I said, keeping up with the times. Al Horford, not only that, is just a very great communicator on the defensive side of the ball and is gifted in that ability, even as old as he is. Just like Brook, he's now on a team where there's real championship aspirations. Obviously, he's been a part of some great runs with the Atlanta Hawks. They won almost 60 games back in 2015, but all in all, his runs with the Celtics are what really is keeping his career alive because he's been such a big part of them. In 2017, they were a game away from the NBA Finals. Last season, they were 2 games away from winning the NBA Finals, and now this season, they're the 2 seed and just a few games behind the Milwaukee Bucks as they're getting ready to hopefully win their first championship together as a group. Al's game is one that just does not go out of style, especially with how hard he's worked to stay in the league. He's patient on defense and offense, he's skilled, and he's a really great teammate as well. I've heard nothing but great things about him from the media, and on JJ's podcast the other night, he was very modest and super humble, just someone you definitely just want to root for. Speaking of someone you want to root for, the 4th and final player who almost didn't make this list because he's not quite as old as these other guys, we're going to be talking about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy and the Miami Heat haven't had a picture-perfect season thus far, but at the age of 33, Jimmy just continues to grow as a player and a leader. What I love most about Jimmy is that he takes full accountability and never runs from the challenge, the struggle, or the slumps. This season, he's averaging the 2nd most points scored for his entire career, along with 5 assists and 6 rebounds. The Miami Heat have a lot to figure out, but one thing's for sure is that head coach Spo and Jimmy are going to do their job and show up every single day. I'd love to see Jimmy Butler back in a situation like he was in Philadelphia, where yes, he is that guy, but he doesn't always have to be the #1 option. Maybe a team like the Clippers or Bucks, or even ironically back in Philadelphia, Chicago would be great, but one team that I really think could use the talents desperately that Jimmy Butler has is the Dallas Mavericks. I think it would be a ton of fun, and he would give a lot to that team on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, when he first joined the team, he wasn't even looked at as a scorer or a mid-range killer or any of those things. It was just strictly defense. But now in today's game, he's a tremendously talented player, and he really is getting better with age. But what do you guys think? Which one of these players is the best player at their age? Let me know in the comments below. If you made it this far, I appreciate your support as always. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, healthy, and blessed. Peace.